So many have attempted to use the Honorable Feminine and her seed to pay off debts. So many have used the Honorable Feminine and her seed to attempt to pay off debts. In most cases, it's debts to cults. In other cases, it's similar, where it's cult like, but it's people who are into schemes and scams, that includes human sacrifice of sort. Get somebody sick or steal somebody's identity, get them trapped up, it's similar. So many have attempted to pay off their debts of their lifestyle choices. I'm going to say it again. And as these honorable feminines went on in life and got away from certain crowds or certain people and tried to make lives for themselves, and if she's a content creator like myself, and that became a part of the whole bargaining chips. You can have her platform, we can shut her up, I can get her taken down. So many people have attempted to pay off debts by the wrongful treatment and sacrificing of Honorable Feminine and her seed. For some of the feminines, this has been done since she was a child, as a teenager, and people had debts with cults because they're trash. So they did stuff to her kid when she trusted them in their care. Yeah, these are your philanthropists, your world leaders, your goody goodies, your so-called goody goodies. I'm gonna rephrase that. Your so-called goody goodies and church folk, Jesus claimers. So many. I'm gonna keep saying that. That's what her life has been plagued with, and her children. Using them as bargaining chips. From the cults that feminine was just a child, just a baby, to crazy radical groups that they connected with as they manufactured the feminine's current locations. Radical political groups, radical religious groups, radical white supremacist racist groups. Anybody that they knew, because they knew like unto themselves, anybody that they knew would have an issue with her because of who she was. This is not allowed. This is treason. This is violation of occult practice itself. Especially if it's innocent and someone with a different conscious, should I say, with soul print, download, whatever you want to call it. Don't get stuck on language and titles and all that. At the end of the day, It still comes down to folks using feminine and her seed like bargaining chips for kibbles and bits. The ones that she grew up with, no. At least some of them know by now. And the ones who kept quiet, they're just as bad. That's why some stuff is happening to some people. Just so y'all if you want to know, it has nothing to do with honorable feminine or her seed. It has everything to do with what they tried to do. It's everything to do with what they're trying to do. Affect her stability, affect her seed stability, affect their mind and health and well-being by sending in stalkers, paying people to harass. Them people upstairs are being paid to do that. I'm going to say it again. They're being paid to do that. Everyone on this property is being paid. They already received partial payments for some of them. That's not hired by the fusion centers themselves. Some of them are getting paid through the fusion centers. Others of them have already received because they're thieves and they've stolen from us and the collectives. That's the partial payments stolen from the monies and things that belong to us and our seed. Others stealing other stuff, our content, what we do, selling it. While they act like they so damn legit, fake as fuck. You're not legit. They're not legit. Ain't shit legit about these bitches or these dudes. They're thieves. And then what they do is steal from people and then go to town and doing shit ton of spell work and gossiping and smear campaigning to discredit them while they steal. Yeah, stealing from someone who they claim is goofy. That's an abuser's move. And the only reason why I'm referencing that collective is because you all probably experience this stuff constantly, which should be a confirmation that you must be speaking some badass shit. You must be laying down some truth. Because they're hoping that's supposed to embarrass you or shake your confidence. And you've been dealing with this, folks. Some of them even knew who the fuck you were. So they need to try again. They think by insulting you, that's going to shake you. You've been insulted since you were a child. They're going to shake you. You grew out of that. They steal. They mock. Most of them are trying to, like I said, pay off debts. And debts could be to cults or debts of their life. And once again, their lifestyle. Who they are, what their choices are, period. They addicts, drug addicts, lasciviousness, debauchery, all manner of, you know what I'm saying? loose living. They don't want to change. They don't want to grow. They don't want to evolve, but they think they grown. They say they grown because they can fuck and work a 9 to 5. In some cases, because some of them don't work a 9 to 5. I'm just saying. But that's what they're qualifying as grown. Yeah, I said that. Because they can hustle, because they can steal. Some of them think they're grown because they can steal. And they done been erroneously groomed by their parents, caretakers, or whomever they done came up under and around. Like, that's what defines you as a man and as a woman. See, I'm doing what I gotta do. I'm doing what I gotta do to take care of my family. Yeah. Shit, if it mean I gotta steal from my bitch and her little raggedy son, then that means I gotta steal. But good. That means, motherfucker. They gonna be singing that song when it's time for that ass to get wrapped around what it needs to get wrapped around. These people are paid to terrorize feminine and her seed. And it's starting with their relatives. That was a part of the whole setup. And since there was many in these bloodlines that were actually jealous of these feminines, that's why it was so very easy for them to all do. Yeah, the devil just got up. So they're on their assignment upstairs. Should I say one of the devils? This is starting with the Honorable Feminine's caretakers. They were part of cults that feminine was unbeknownst to feminine. Feminine has nothing to do with her bloodline trash. And let me say this crystal clear, bitch. She has absolutely nothing to do with who, because see, she don't even know at this point what her origins are. There's so much foul play about her life, her origins, that it just don't make any sense. But let's make this crystal clear. She's never been part of any of her bloodline caretakers or whoever the fuck, the handlers, bitch, to the blood that she actually come from and everything in between. She's never been a part of their trash. Understand? She's never been, she never knew. It was hidden. So she ain't nothing like it, baby. Let's just put that out there for the world to understand good and plenty, bitch. She ain't nothing like it. She don't operate like them. She don't think like them. She don't agree with the same manner of conduct. She ain't money hungry and materialistic like them. She ain't willing to sell babies like them. She don't do that. She ain't finding a cult to pay off her debts and looking for 9 bodies to donate and sacrifice for these to pay these debts. She don't agree with that conduct. It makes her stomach hurt. It's sickening. It sickens her. No matter what her life circumstances or struggles has ever been, the notion to conduct such as any of these people sickens her. It is not something that she would ever consider as an option to clear up the debts of her life. Whether that be to get little Susie, little Stephanie college tuition, bitch, little tiny Tim, his cleats. Little Ray Ray's braces. Whether that be to shorten a sentence. Of one's actual criminal behavior and shit, token. It's not something she would have ever considered. It's not in her DNA. Hers. Her origins. She's nothing like them. Her life has been burdened because people have been using her and her seed as bargaining chips. And it was made to appear like she was just unstable. And when she broke molds, that became a 911 call. So they had to amp up their depravity. Because she wasn't supposed to break that. She wasn't supposed to survive poison. She wasn't supposed to survive heartache and betrayal. She wasn't supposed to survive every attack on her health and her well-being, her physicality. She wasn't supposed to go on and move on from people that really smelled. They were smelling themselves, my grandmother would have said. They smelled themselves. Because the world had convinced them they were something that they not. And they were used to, some of these people are killers. And you are going to have to accept that because that's what they are. They're killers. They're murderers. Yes, they actually have blood. That's not a metaphor. Passive murder. This is the new age version of murder with folks who are cowardly. This is the new old way, I should say. This is the sophisticated criminal sociopathic, need to be seen as a philanthropist slash want to be also looked at as a hero slash sadistic, high off of knowing that that's what that is. So by way of torture and harassment, tampering with dwelling, tampering with resources, coercive passive control, all those are tactics to slowly kill. On top of, getting, sometimes it's physical. They tamper with your food and groceries and dwellings and things of that nature. You're supposed to get poisoned by asbestos, mold, mildew. Uh-huh. Contaminated environments, intentional. Uh-huh. Then you're supposed to have a mental breakdown with all of the noise and disruption and spell work and people following you around. Then you're supposed to snap and beat the bejesus out of somebody one day. You're supposed to snap and just go ahead and red rum. Because after all, everybody has a threshold. So they have all that happening so that you can, behind the scene, right? So the collective can snap and just fuck up everything. Just postal. So they can say, oh my God, we got to just see, what is going on? As their addicts sit up in their apartments, stomping in their apartments all day and all night doing spell work. Coordinating with one another when to walk in and out of buildings and sprinkle weird substances. As they tap into your devices, and with the fusion centers especially, or hackers, because people do know hackers, as they tap into devices through fusion centers or hackers, and which is eerily weird, because they can, if that's the case, they can ping the device wherever it's moving. So then you'll have the hooverers that's in apartments above you. Yeah, that's the level of obsession they have. Where is the device at? And you'll sense them. This is how the target starts to pattern. It seems like they move where even they, because they be walking to where you can hear the shit. Where you can hear them seeming to move where you move. You walk in the kitchen, and all of a sudden they seem to be, you hear the stomping on the ceiling in the kitchen. You walk in the bathroom, all of a sudden you hear the stomping there, or you hear their toilet flush. You walk in, yeah. And what's happening in this case is they wanted to be able to monitor. The reason why it's gone to this magnitude is because they lost power and control, and so they had to hire a lot of help using the monies that they stole and what's being offered on a grander scale. This is why they want someone stuck in a rural area, because it's easy to monitor and control. It's easier to utilize the corruption in such a place than it is on a grander scale. They want to be able to monitor and engage. That's why I said, you know, they'll go on the social media if the targets go on camera, so they can go, oh my God, oh, see, this is happening, this is happening. They're gonna be on real on pretty bad here soon. Collective can alchemize. The big wigs know it. They know. The other ones is trying to convince themselves differently. They're hired help. But the big wigs, the ones that they're trying to pay the debts to, they know. Because they want to be able to get their supply. It's a combination of, they want their narcissistic supply by being able to have visual, visual knowledge of, to try to gauge, okay, I got a boy to bring me this next spell, this next poison, this next whatever the fuck they didn't told me to do. And then we're going to just sit back and watch and see what happens with that. That's why they're about to suffer from some other shit here real soon on that one. Game over. And I mean, when I say real soon, I mean soon. I'm not talking about one day and no. Soon. Because that's a part of what the surveillance is, the illegal surveillancing in this case. This is why the fusion center and all this stuff through corrupt cops and connections with these people in high-low places were brought in, but it was for this cult to be able to access that as well. Like I said on a video yesterday, they're blocking certain phone calls. I have one of the latest iPhones made. Ain't nothing wrong with this phone. And technology ain't that damn glitchy. With 5 numbers, 6 numbers, 7 phone numbers from 3 different area codes, all doing the same thing. And all those area codes are outside of the state. People are trying to pay off debts to cults that either help them to get things. Like I said, this is massive. Some folks, it's the cults help them to get fame. They help them to get money. They help them to get well. In some cases, they use some kind of knowledge of the occult practice. But there will sacrifices have to be made. And these sacrifices are not allowed. Whether people want to adhere to, believe it or not, accept it or not, there are some parameters. It's not allowed. It's not, you can do it, meaning it can be done. Anything is plausible. Anything can be done. It may come with a higher penalty, and there may be higher intervention too that ends up taking place, which means hell on earth. People don't want to listen to it. They don't want to believe it because they don't like these feminines. They don't like her for whatever their reason is. They're like, well, who is she? And blase, and I do, okay, well, sure, fine. Very well. These feminists are somebody who's been trying to mind their business their whole lives while everybody's been minding theirs. That's who they are. Her and her seed being passed around like lottery tickets. These people finding the scum of wherever these feminines landed themselves in their seed. Finding the scum in all these locations and getting them involved. Very easy to do. When you find people who already have an issue, that's scum anyway, and already have an issue with the person and do anything for money, when you lay it out like that, it's not that hard to believe. It's not that out there. When you're in a small rural area, it shouldn't be that hard to swallow out there that, yes, there's enough corruption and enough positions that would go that far. Because they are the power. So when you feel like you're the power of a city or a county or whatever the case may be, then that's their protection. Everybody is in on it because everybody's getting some kind of benefit, which means everyone will go ahead and agree with whatever the scheme is. Which is why they operate cockily and confidently and smugly and arrogantly. That's why. Because they have corruption in high-low places. Because if that wasn't secure, I guarantee you none of these people would be secure. None of them. And I mean none of them. Honorable feminine and her seed. People have been trying to pay their debts and sacrifice these ladies and their children to pay off their debts. This is why feminine life has become, okay, we got to go. Because these folks are hell-bent on making a problem, because that is what everything is contingent upon. Bind her up, bind her children up, restrict them, limit them, keep them in a low vibe, keep them tortured, make it impossible for them to have a state of ease of mind, no matter what they do and where they go. Try to make it virtually impossible, if you can. And if they do anything, then this just is going to work into our plan to make it seem like there's some kind of paranoid, crazy so-and-so, if we can get them to bust your car, to tear up them nice cars. Most of these people so more worried about these cars than they some of these motherfuckers are more worried about these cars than they are their own fucking actual family and relationships, and they're more worried about these fucking cars than they are about what's going to happen to little Susie, little tiny Tim, then, you know, they're more worried about their cars, them being able to have these cars. Worry about this money. Some of them fighting behind that they hide in places. So it lets you know what these people are on. I see it, they pumpkin. Oh, mama see the boo-boo. Anyway, let me get going. So feminine's life and her seed go, you know, they operate, or she operates and moves how she has to move because people are trying to slow kill her and her children. They are trying to tamper with her health and well-being and that of her children. They're trying to hurry up and see if they can get them sick so they can have to put them in get them in a certain position. So that's why these honorable feminines move how they move. They'll suddenly do this. They'll all of a sudden do that. They'll be because the Cyrus. Okay. Oh, mama see it. That is what's going on with me, and that is what's going on with a lot of the honorable feminists in their seed out there. That's the environments. That's what's happening. People's family members work with these fusion centers. Uh-huh. Parkdale Mall, Allied Security. Uh-huh. Is connected to feminist exes. Some of them. Some of the same people just so happen to have delivered to her or her children in Silsby. At some point, it starts to look weird. They keep trying to make it her a thief. They keep trying to, like, these people is this is crazy. Keep doing that weird shit. Oh, send a package over there, pretend like it was a mistake, and then go knock on that. That's these people need help. Well, pretend like the groceries is over there, so they'll come over there and we can make it seem like they was over here. Look, this is all the kind of shit that they've been doing. So we can get them caught up, so we can get away with what we're stealing and doing. But the oldest debt comes from the origins, the people she came from. That's the oldest. And they're trying to trade places because some of these people became a part of a cult when they went to Louisiana. The one that she called mother. She joined a cult at around age 19 or 20 in Louisiana. Through her baby daddy people. The Edwards and the Prevost. Did some weird shit on me. Went out there, got sick. And this is what I'm going to talk to you all about on the next video, of what happens to the cult, some of the cult members, but also the targets, those that they're targeting, and then why they don't want them to get away. She went out there and got sick as a dog. She fooled with these motherfuckers. She went out there, started playing with shit she didn't have no business. Ended up getting all kind of, could be because she sacrificed me and, you know, her mother, who knows. But she got sick as a fucking dog. All of a sudden, all these weird ailments. She got eerily skinny. Her throat, something happened with her throat. She had to have my grandmother send for her. Yeah, to send for her to get her from Louisiana back to California. There is where she ended up having a surgery. My grandmother took care of her to get her nursed back to health. Something happened with her throat surgery, then the back surgery, then all kinds of just strange, unusual things. In part due to what she did to me. Is why her condition is what it is today. What she did to her mama and many others. She was trying to get away from a cult. It's a cult. She owed debt. And a part of that debt was trying to sacrifice me and my son. And a part of that includes wherever we go, whatever we do, with things that was left to us, and anything else that's been offered, especially via corrupt authority and everything else that might be at play and involved. is to hoover our lives and find the corruption. You just heard them stomp, possibly, but maybe you didn't. But they are in connection. And a part of what they do is pretend to not be. That is how they hide their hands. I'm going to end this here. I'm going to come back later on after I got to do some clearing. Got some more phone calls to make and some more things to take care of because we are done here. I am not allowing my son to live like this, to be subject to the psychotic behavior on this property or anybody in this city, in this state. We will start with nothing and heal and rebuild again and again and again, if necessary. I will get him proper medical care and medical treatment out of this state. Where folks don't have some kind of vested interest. But a part of why they don't want the targets to get away is because, again, the energy is going to shift huge. And they all know it. The ones who are, really knowledgeable about the cult and all that stuff, they know. This is a part of why there is a hatred for myself or my son and folks like us at the same time of wanting us bound to or near, which is a tell. It's a giveaway. Because if you hate something, you want it away from you, not by you. You want it on the other side of the world, if possible. So it's a tell. It's a tell on all of them. The fact that they're trying to control and restrict my access outside of the state. Because if I'm so all the things that they're trying to convince the world that I am, they shouldn't want me or my son nowhere near any of them. Think about it.